Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing you something absolutely special today. We thought we're gonna have a show where we're gonna do a weekly recap with all the news that you missed and everything that you need to know about this week's unfolding and potentially what to look at for next week. We're gonna look at charts as always, daily news. Then we're gonna look at market analysis. Then we're gonna have a Q&A with a special guest. You probably know who he is. And we're gonna do some token requests as well. And two brains coming together probably will be easier. Before I say anything further, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel, obliterate the like button, show us some love. And without further ado, let me bring the man, the legend, Fefe the Crypto Kid. What's happening, brother?
Dude, I am absolutely doing amazing. We have a lot of stuff planned for today. If you missed anything that happened in the crypto space during this week, then don't worry, because we're going to be delivering you all the best piece of news that came out within this specific week. And I'm super excited to do it here with Fefe and Efe doing a nice crypto weekly
Fefe
update.
and Efe. And how crazy that is. And this is live, CryptoPunk. This is live. We are coming live here. Okay, cool. So what we discuss, what we would do, this is first of all a completely new setup for both of us, right? So we're just gonna hang out, enjoy ourselves, and we hope that you guys gonna come and enjoy yourselves with us. 100x Club, my cuz here is telling you to smash the like, so definitely do that. We put up a vote if you're bearish or bullish, vote on that as well. And other than that, I think we should just jump into the first news. What if we do it in a way that we just throw news at each other and we discuss all of them? Would that sound good for you?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start off with you then.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go. So number one that I found excited this week was Fear and Greed Index drops below, and now it's not there, but it actually dropped below 30, which is pretty interesting about this, eh? Because what you see here on this image, for example, that last time it happened was in August 2023. We saw what happened since then. But any time in history it happened, you could see that it was a perfect buying opportunity. So
Yeah,
we're seeing this is very interesting. Now, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think that, look, I mean, people always make the mistake, specifically in crypto, because it's just all psychology. When something goes down in price, people tend to panic and sell their assets. That's not what you're supposed to do. In fact, I mean, if you want to buy something and you've been saving up, dreaming of buying, let's say, a PlayStation for the past 2 years, and it's finally on a 30% discount, what do? Do you say that, oh no, I'm gonna wait for this discount to be over and then I'm gonna buy my PS5? But no, you don't do that. You buy it when it's on discount, and I think it's the exact same concept. If a 10%, 7% discount is not enough for you, then maybe you're gonna miss out on the next 25% rally towards the upside. I think Michael Saylor says it perfectly. You buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity to buy the dip. Yes, people are saying that we can go lower, but people said the exact same thing, including myself, when Bitcoin was at 15K. You just never know. So why not DCA into Bitcoin, get a nice average, and then profit all the way up?
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely time to buy on spots. Although Fefe has some crazy stats to bring for us with these EMA crossings and shit, which actually scared me before the show. But I'm gonna do one more, and then we can look at your news as well. One more thing that was very exciting for me this week is the announcement of Solana actions and blinks. Now, why this is interesting for me? Number one, I wrote a complete thread on this, so if you go to my Twitter, you will see why this is big and how you can do it. But the basic idea here is that you will be able, and here's why it's big as well, you will be able to simply copy a link, post it in Twitter, and you don't have to leave Twitter to be able to buy any token. This is how it will look. So basically, what now you can do, now you had to, you know, what you had to do, you had to copy an address, and then you had to take that address to your Phantom wallet or your Jupiter, and then you have to paste the address, and you have to buy the coin, whatever. Now, with a click of a button, you will be able to do it from Twitter, from YouTube, from Instagram, from anywhere. So potentially at some point, we can have an embedded link like this down in the description in YouTube. And I can tell people not to get scammed. They can just click and use their Phantom wallet to interact with this protocol and just buy or swap or stake or send or donate or get, or, you know?
No way, bro. That changes everything. I mean, then you just eliminate, basically, first of all, barrier to entry, because the amount of people lost in the process of, let's say, you know what, we have this token and we're talking about it, and some people are interested in buying it. Some people just don't tend to take that final push and take the last step, because it's just it's a hassle to find the contract address, put it on your decentralized exchange, and then buy the token. If you just can make it easy for people, if they want to buy something, they can just do it with one click of a button. I think it changes the entire game. So that's actually pretty cool.
It's 250 million people. Like, let's not forget. Like, it's
Oh my
250
God, wow.
million active users on Twitter. You know, that's big. Absolutely crazy. What do you have?
Massive.
Let me swap to your screen. Let's look at some of the stuff. Here we go.
So obviously we had a lot of things happen this week. Actually, not so much in the cryptocurrency space, more so on the politics side of things, which we'll get into very briefly in a few minutes. But in the crypto space, it's been a little bit quiet. We had a lot of buzz around Solana ETFs, with 21 shares filing for a Solana ETF. But the truth is, I kind of want to debunk this a little bit, Fefe. The ETF that they're filing for is actually called a trust. So it's more similar to the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF trust, which was the one before we had the normal spot ETFs. And what a trust does is basically it's only applicable to a certain group of accredited investors. Therefore, you're reducing the total exposure the ETF can potentially get by a very, very large amount. And I don't think that the Solana ETF is as bullish as people are currently projecting it to be. And let alone, I mean, Solana ETPs, which are exchange-traded products, they do exist elsewhere in the world. And we can see the current performance of these Solana ETPs. They're not doing too well. And the final point that I'll mention on this particular news is that, if we look at the expected performance of the Ethereum ETFs, we're currently looking at a 1 out of 15 total inflow into Ethereum. So far we had like a 15 billion ETF inflow in the first 3 to 4 months. Analysts are expecting 1 billion to go into Ethereum within a period of 3 to 4 months, and I think that's pretty fair to say. But you made the entire elevator pitch that Ethereum is basically allowing you to trade financial products 24/7, whereas Wall Street, it goes on holiday, it goes on a break, it sleeps at night, whatever. That's the elevator pitch for Ethereum. Bitcoin is this is digital gold. What do you say for Solana? How to pitch Solana to these investors? So I think there's a lot of moving parts. I don't think it will be as successful as people expect it to be, and that could bring a negative impact on the price action.
I actually think I'm not thinking that it's extremely bullish. The reason why I don't think it, because it becomes tiring at some point, So like you basically go and you have these Bitcoin ETF, the first thing again, like it's gonna be huge, the first crypto ETF, and then we're gonna all in ape and whatnot, and TradeFi coming to us, and the first time we're the big guys because they buy our coins finally, and and then we have Ethereum ETF, and now Ethereum ETF is not even launched. And the market is like, oh, Solana ETF, it's just absolutely madness. So for me, it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, just take a chill pill a bit. Like, take this Ethereum ETF. Other than that, I do think that it actually signals adoption at some point. Like, I do think that Solana being the third, if you compare Solana to Ethereum in terms of market cap and whatever, Solana has way more bigger space to go, and grow and whatever. I do think that we can see an $800 to $1,000 Solana this cycle. I genuinely do think, but we need to see. I do think that we need to see this crazy degenning whatever go away a bit and just try to focus on implementation and also the important stuff for me. What we have to see is that base is coming up very hard. So I think Solana is great. But seeing what Base is working on and their user base and onboarding people not to Solana, but onboarding people to Base can really just be, I agree with you, a negative price. But it's also going to be a buy the news, a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. So I think we're going to have a run up, but so. I agree with you.
I think so too. I think it's, but bro, you need to remember that Solana is still in beta. So there's still so much more to go, right? Solana is in beta, and that's kind of their excuse that they have for the amount of times that Solana is sometimes online. Imagine if, big TradeFi institutions, they want to adopt Solana for their tokenization of financial products, and they use Solana, and, they're running billions of dollars per second, and oh my God, Solana just suddenly stops. It's gone. It's under maintenance. So I think that, yeah, Solana is nice and all, and there are a lot of transactions being processed, and it's relatively doing okay for that. But I think that, we've had the talk of, this is my personal view, like we've had the talk of Ethereum killers for a long time. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable in that altcoin and layer 1, layer 2 segment. But I think that, yeah, Solana ETF for the long run should definitely be good for the price action.
Cool. Let's go on to the next one. What's the next one?
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, other than the crypto news, we have an economic indicator that was released, and that is the PCE inflation data. Now, why is this important, and what is the actual PCE inflation? So the PCE looks at the core kind of inflation that, for example, you as a consumer, if you go ahead and buy, food products, you have auto insurance, you pay rent, etc., it looks at the inflation that you directly as the consumer gets affected by. It doesn't look at things that necessarily don't affect you as an individual. This PCE tracks exactly the inflation that me and you face. So it's important. It's the Fed's preferred inflation metric to determine what the interest rates are going to be, which evidently creates the boom and bust cycles. And currently we saw a very beautiful, in hindsight, a very beautiful reading for the PCE at 2.6%. So 20 basis points lower than what we saw back in April. And the markets kind of took that as a very bullish thing. We continue to rally in the stock market. Bitcoin is not following that right now. We'll talk more about it when we discuss the charts. But people need to understand that, yes, okay, inflation or PCE data has been falling over the past 12 months or so. But this is not exactly what PCE looks at, because if this was the reality, then we wouldn't be having a huge cost of living crisis. So this is exactly what PCE looks like when you zoom out. And of course, no politician is going to go ahead and mention this, because when you look at it, it's absolutely terrible. You're seeing cocoa, you're seeing orange juice, you're seeing so many different things like avocados. They go up by 100% in price, but this is not reflected on the data that they pitch to us. So I think it's super concerning. I think that the total cost of living crisis is massive. With national debt at $36 trillion, there will probably be a massive implosion that will affect the stock market, that will affect every single individual out there. And I think that the way to opt out from this is probably by buying Bitcoin. So evidently I'm bullish on Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin, then you're probably safe. But everybody else not holding Bitcoin, they are going to experience some massive issues with their economy, their household economics. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
No, yeah, I agree. And also, like, the problem is that being on every aspect of life, we're being fed a lot of lies, right? So the thing is, like, whether inflation is really, we don't really know. Nobody really knows if the numbers that come, even the numbers that you told us, we just believe that those are the correct numbers, but we don't really fucking know. Nobody really knows, and that's actually very scary to see that we are just flying and trying to follow some numbers that we're not even sure about. One thing is for sure seeing. So for me, what was interesting, seeing GDP come out this week as well, 1.4%, which was the estimate. The only thing is that 1.4%, that really means that the economy is basically not growing. Like, it's growing very, very, very slow. And the reason why this is number one good is because it became. We're coming to a point where the Fed needs to cut. Or they're gonna wreck the economy. And JP said very nicely, Jerome Powell, who is the Fed chair, the Fed chair, is that if they cut too late, then it's a problem, because then they basically wreck the economy. If they cut too early, they're gonna ruin the entire work they've done so far. So that's what he's saying. So I think by seeing the economy slowing down, if we would see great CPI numbers going forward, I do think that we're going to see a cut, at least one or probably two cuts this year. But we need to see that. We need to see that happen. What do you take on that?
Yeah, I think that the total economy, we're at a point where US we have a huge deficit, right? So but the US is a huge export and import deficit, and I think specifically under a Democratic or a leftist kind of administration, you're probably going to increase that deficit more. Trump wants to increase tariffs and reduce tax. So I think a Republican coming into power probably is the only solution to revive the U.S. economy. But I just think that they're at a point where you have 36 trillion, you have the debt ceiling going in at 2025. I think there's so many falling parts that it's just not going to work out. They have been able to revive the economy by printing more money in the past and playing with interest rates, etc. But I just think that this time round, it's not going to work out the exact same way. I mean, on my screen, I have the total money supply, so the M2 money supply and the S&P 500. And you can see that in history, whenever the economy has been in a they've been in a slow period, or there's a depression, what they do is they just print more money to create economic stimuli. Because if you print money, and people, eventually get that money in their hands, what they'll do is they'll spend that money in the economy. They'll invest into the stock market, into risk on assets such as the S&P and Bitcoin, and they all tend to go up. Now, what happens is eventually you need to cut back on that money printing, because inflation will increase drastically. And whenever they did end up cutting on that money supply, the S&P had a massive payback a few months after. And now you can see that yes, they printed so much money after COVID, and now they've cut on that money printing because they had to control inflation. And I think that the S&P is going to have a massive payback scenario where we just dump like crazy. So in the event that happens, which will probably not happen this year because it is election year, no matter how much you believe if the Fed is an individual organization, or if you believe that the Treasury operates independently, you probably believe other things too. I think that this year will probably not have a dump in the market. Maybe Trump winning can cause a little bit of an extension in the rally, but eventually I'm expecting a massive crash.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's cooked. I think the bread is in the oven, and the oven is turned on, and the question really is like when we're gonna burn, and it's coming. The question really is, and this is why I also think it's fundamental that Trump wins, because it's not only about crypto and whatever, but it's really about an economic situation that would be nice to prolong for another whatever year. It would be great to have like at least 2024 and then better half of 2025, and then just go from there. But we see everybody's asking about the market. We do see the market breaking out. We are going to talk about the market very, very soon. Let me bring you some other news that I thought was pretty cool this week. So
let's do it.
We looked at. Let me. Okay. So we talked about blinks. We talked about actions. Coinbase sues the SEC. Now here's why it's interesting.
Oh, no.
Here's what's interesting. So they deposit. So they accuse Coinbase, like the SEC accuses Coinbase, and the government accuses Coinbase that they are selling illegal, securities and illegally selling securities and whatnot. And then the government deposits 4,000 Bitcoin onto Coinbase. Like, how fucking dumb you need to be to do that? And what the day they did it, 24 hours later, they've been struck with a lawsuit. So good on Coinbase, very good job. Another news that I think is very important: BlackRock bought their own ETF. How fucking crazy that is! How crazy that is! That's incredible.
That's so nice.
That's conviction.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's
they
great.
literally bought their own. Oh, so this is not that they buy for their users and whatever, or is it investors and whatever. They actually bought this for themselves, for the Global Allocation Fund. So it's their own investment, which is absolutely insane. What do you think?
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because if you look at 𝗖𝗅𝗏, it's the best performing ETF in history, right? Even if the price of Bitcoin is currently sitting at 61 or whatever it is, it's still it's the fastest to reach a 10 billion AUM by like multiple hundreds of days, and it's currently very profitable. So it makes total sense. And just a small thing to add, like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, first of all, they own a majority of Coinbase. So even if the SEC sues them or whatever, because Coinbase is practically a monopoly in the US with their amount of regulation and with BlackRock investing, etc., I think Coinbase will absolutely be okay. I think that Larry Fink will probably buy the Ethereum ETF. They'll buy the Solana ETF because they want to tokenize every single financial product in the US and put it on the blockchain. And why would they want to do that? Well, it's a massive issue, right? People do not have change, or they don't want to go into some sort of change unless they have a huge monetary benefit. And the monetary benefit with putting everything on the blockchain is that currently you have a clearinghouse, which is the DTCC. So let's say Fefe is BlackRock or Fidelity, and I have a brokerage account with Fidelity. I want to buy some Tesla shares. Now, as soon as I click the buy button on my phone, right, I get it on paper, I have that share, but that's not the reality. So as soon as I click the buy button, what happens is the Fidelity then has to go to the New York Stock Exchange and says, look, we have this user who wants to buy one Tesla share. And the settlement it takes for the exchange to send that share, essentially in basic terms, to Fidelity is a period of 1 to 3 days, because there's a DTCC, the clearinghouse, which communicates, and there's so much manual labor. It's crazy, 1 to 3 business days. Now, as soon as you put this onto the blockchain, you get rid of thousands of people in the middle, because it's all on the public ledger. There's no corruption. It's all double checked by math in a couple of seconds, and you essentially increase the velocity of money. And by increasing the velocity of money, the total amount of money, the speed of which money travels across a country, you increase their total GDP, which is economic growth. And we clearly can see that the US needs that. So I think the future is bright for cryptos overall.
My only challenge with these RWAs actually is who verifies. So RWAs, like real world assets, I think it's a great idea, and it's obviously the future. Like, it's obviously what needs to be. But I think people misunderstand RWAs. I don't think that it's gonna be like. So RWAs will only work in a highly regulated environment. It's not gonna work. There must be regulation before we can see RWAs thrive. Because, like, imagine what happens if I have just a very simple example. What happens if I have my house or my car on my MetaMask, right? And then my MetaMask gets hacked. Then that means I can't prove that, so I know it's a little bit of, like boiling it down, but that's the essential part. I need to have a central point of entity, which is the whole purpose of crypto, not to have a central point of entity. But I do believe that for RWAs, you will need to have that entity that says, okay, there is some kind of mechanism where we validate this thing, and that's where private. So this is why I don't think, do you think, I'll turn this around. Do you think that Larry Fink will use Ethereum as their like main, or are they gonna be like, yeah, exactly. So what do you think about this?
Oh no. Well, we already know that JP Morgan has their own private blockchain called the TCN.
Exactly.
And there's been many reports that Morgan Stanley and BlackRock themselves have been developing private blockchain. So yeah, I completely think that it's because there is always going to be corruption in this world. The same reason why we don't have blockchain-based voting in larger nations is because corruption is going to exist, right? There isn't a time in the world where there is zero corruption. And blockchain completely eliminates corruption because it's all publicly available and you can't play around with it. And because that's the case, I don't think that in the financial system where corruption is probably the most prominent, we will go into a full blockchain system. But what we can go into is a private blockchain that is essentially controlled by a certain institution. And that I think will definitely happen.
No, I agree.
I don't think Ethereum will probably not be adopted. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, yeah, I agree. Let me bring you one more here. We have, that's your screen. Let me bring you one more here. We have ETH ETF coming up. We talked about it quite a little bit. We have ETH ETF coming up basically next week. There's like between Tuesday and Thursday, we will see the ETH ETF. What are you expecting? Very shortly, like what's your expectation on the announcement?
So I'm just going to try and find something. I'm going to share it with you in just a second. So this is I follow him a lot. His name is 𝗡𝗘𝗙𝗢𝗍, and he is one of the ETF kind of ETF whizzes in the space. I just need to scroll up on my bookmarks. So many things have happened in the PolitiFi space specifically. So just give me one sec. So as I scroll up, maybe if I just do that, it's probably going to be easier. We can see that he's expecting the ETF to come around probably next week. But my personal expectation is that the ETF will come after next week, so in 2 weeks' time. Why? Because we have July 4th, we have holidays coming up. So
I think they have a deadline. I think isn't it like a deadline, a hard deadline?
No, so basically Gary Gensler said that they can be approved by the end of summer. So he expects them to be approved as soon as in between the summer period. And he's been saying that, look, everything is going smoothly. So I think that they will either release the ETF prior to the July 4th weekend, or they will go ahead with it following on Monday. So I think that's 8th of July. Therefore, we could expect the ETF to be hitting the market as soon as tomorrow. That is a possibility. So either we get it tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday is July 4th, or we get it on Monday the following week. Yeah,
I agree. I agree that I think it's gonna be before the 4th, but yeah, I agree with you. I thought the 4th was a hard deadline, but apparently it's not. So then it's then it can happen that they simply prolong it. Let's talk a few words about the debate. Let's just rather bring some funny shit, because we have a bunch of funny shit. So I want to show you something. This is one of the funniest things from the debate.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear it. I hope the audience can.
I think they can.
Okay, that's fine.
But it says...
Let us know in the chat.
You can't hear it either. Oh, no, they can't hear it. Why is that, though?
Okay, they can't hear it, yeah. It is what it is. I
Okay.
think there's I think like 50 to 70 million people saw it. So we can just give a quick rundown of what happened. Essentially, right? Essentially, if you watch the comedy show that was put free for everybody to watch last week, you saw two old dudes just kind of, one was saying, I play golf, I did a cognitive test, I'm fine. And one was arguably not able to speak so fluently. And I think that was the issue. And I think the primary issue with the debate was that, if you look at far left media, all the far left media that has been supporting Biden, they have been denying they've been saying that, okay, Biden is fit for presidency, there's nothing wrong, he should continue. But now that we've seen like a public presidential debate, there is absolutely no way they can deny the fact that, probably Biden's getting a little bit too old. And, I feel bad for him because I watched the previous presidential debate that he did with Trump 3 years ago. And if you actually compare the two debates, he's very, very active. He's speaking, his voice is clear, he's more fluent, he has a loud voice, and there is a massive change that took place in 3 years. And it's understandable because I can't believe the amount of pressure you must have as a United States president. So yeah, there's clear deterioration in terms of how he's able to present himself, and I think that's concerning. But if we look at its impact on crypto, I think it's good that Trump has now a much more likelihood of winning the election, because Trump, being a Republican, being a far-right individual, he's for deregulation and free market, and he's a capitalist, right? And the problem that we have in the US is that there's so much regulation for crypto companies that none of them can go ahead and do business. They'd rather go to Singapore, Hong Kong, or Dubai. Now, if he cuts the regulation, as he's promising, then what will happen is crypto companies will be able to flourish, right? You have to have a balance of regulation, because if you over-regulate, then you'll scare a bunch of people. And if you under-regulate, then you'll have a lot of bad actors. So I think he'll be able to find the balance, and crypto will thrive in the US, and ultimately that should be very, very good for the price of Bitcoin.
No, yeah, I agree. I actually swapped. There's one thing that I think, just talking about left media, there's one thing that I think is very important to bring in here, and I think I fixed the issue. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but I couldn't show it on my Friday's live because I couldn't find it. But now I found it. And this clip is actually very interesting. Let me know if you hear it now.
I can hear it.
Okay. So this lady, Erin Burnett, she literally admits that they fed the questions to Biden. Look at this.
Practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions is coming, and yet he couldn't fill the time. He practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions is coming.
So I think the scary part here is that if Biden knew the questions really and still hasn't been able to pull this off properly, I think we are screwed more than we can imagine. And I think that's why a lot of like what you could see after, I don't know if you watched the debate live, but what you could see after as well is literally after on CNN, they discussed a lot about like the complete liberal left side people. They are like, okay, so there is a movement right now that they want to go to the White House right now and ask the president to step aside. And that can actually, this is one of the main reasons I believe that Trump had the numbers for Trump went up because of this. But what is interesting, and this is just one thought here, and I want to get your take on, is that if this continues like this, I do think that they need to start, like the left will need, the Democrats will need to start pushing for crypto even more, because that's literally the only thing that Trump was like leading in this whole thing. He came out, he said he's a crypto president. He started going viral on Twitter, viral on all these platforms by the crypto groups. And then the Democrats started adjusting, and they're like, oh, we're going to do this as well. We're going to do that as well. So I actually think that this debate was extremely good for crypto, even though they didn't mention it. What do you think?
So I think that, yeah, there's a lot of theories going around. I think that the fact is probably both of them had an idea of what the questions are going to be. They had a lot of time to prepare. And, if you compare it to, I watched all the presidential debates up to or till 1984. And you can see that this current one is just completely different in so many ways to all of the other ones. I think the other ones, the older ones, have been more professional. This was based purely off of just insulting. But that aside, I think the impact on crypto, going back to that, I think that Trump doesn't have to do much to win. There is a possibility that they can remove Joe Biden as the candidate for the Democratic Party. Robert Kennedy said that I'd be willing to take that position. There's rumors that they're replacing Michelle Obama with the candidate on the envelope. So that is also a possibility. But will that change anything? No, unless they put Trump in jail before the election, which is definitely a possibility on the table. Ultimately, I think that the impact on crypto is not going to be too huge both ways. I think Trump, going back to, my understanding of Trump, if Bitcoin goes up because of the deregulation, because of lower interest rates and better economic conditions, then Trump will say, hey, look, I told you, right? It's going up. I said it. There you go. That's possibly what's going to happen. But is Trump himself actually going to fight for crypto? I don't think so. We need to remember that this is election year. People make promises, and crypto is a massive community, right? Let's say 1 million people. That's very conservative. But even if we look at this 1 million people, they are single issue voters. So if they say that, hey, look, we're going to go all in on crypto, we're going to change laws, regulations, yada, yada, yada. These 1 million people, they're likely to go ahead and vote. And in a tight-knit election, that 1 million people can be the result of somebody winning. So I think that, yes, they can push more for crypto, but evidently when they do become, or when the president is selected, I personally don't think that they will individually go ahead and try to promote crypto or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen, because we need to be realistic. Like the actual, if you look at the total problems in the world, crypto is probably a very, very small thing. But I think that now that Trump is very close with a lot of crypto people, he's getting funding from a lot of crypto people. If he does win, I think overall crypto will definitely go up. That's my personal view.
Great. All right. You've got any news, or we should move on to the charts? What do you say?
I have one final news that we can go into, and that was it's a pretty big thing actually that took place this week, and that was the release of Julian Assange. Now, why is this relevant? Who is Julian Assange? If you don't know, he is the founder of WikiLeaks, and he was in a very massive mess, right? He went into the what'd you call it, the embassy, and he was there for 7 years, and yada yada yada. We won't go into that, but essentially, if you were a Bitcoiner, then you're probably a libertarian, and libertarians want Assange to be free. I personally have a balanced view on him. I think he's done some wrong things, and I think that a lot of things that he has done should be okay, because he is essentially a journalist. Maybe the Espionage Act doesn't make too much sense, but honestly, I'm not a professional, so I can't comment too much. But he was released, and they say that Jack Dorsey paid 5 Bitcoin to help his release, or 8
Is that
Bitcoin.
confirmed, though? Is that confirmed?
So I don't think it is. It's not
Is it
confirmed,
timestamps?
but yeah, because he sent the tweet exactly at 5:03 p.m.
Yeah.
and the transaction was sent at 5:03 p.m. at the
Yeah.
same time. So that could be the case, but I think eventually, like if we summarize it up, it's big for crypto, because Bitcoin and crypto stand for libertarianism and freedom of money. And I think Julian Assange stood for freedom of speech and the freedom to news. And I think it's cool. He probably got punished more so than what he should have been. And yeah, it was just a move onto the libertarians, I think, freeing Assange and other things, including Edward Snowden, that President Trump and Biden also mentioned before.
No, I 100% agree. 100%. And it's also a huge win. I genuinely think it's a huge win. I don't know what the deal is and how this whole thing will unfold, but I do think that it's a huge win. So it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
100%.
Let's move on to the charts, eh?
Okay, let's do it. So I think this is what everybody's been waiting for. But before we do, make sure to destroy the like button, guys, because we need to get to as many likes as possible. Remember, we're going to be doing this every single Sunday, giving you the week's recap if you were working, if you were tired, and now you have only time on Sundays to catch up with crypto. This is the show that you want to watch. So subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and destroy the likes if you're enjoying it. Now, going into the price of Bitcoin, on the daily time frame, I think on the daily we're looking a little bit concerning, because volume is dropping off. Like if we go to ever since May of this year, volume has been dropping off significantly. And what you can see is, in a period of low volume, the way that selling and buying works is that a price can drop a lot faster than it can go up. Why? Because for a price to go down, you don't need just people selling, right? For a price to go up, you need people buying. But for price to go down, if you have a lack of buyers, right, that can also cause the price to go down at the same time. So I think it's a bit concerning. Volume predicts price, that we have low volume. If we break below 60.7 or more conservatively $58,000, I think Bitcoin's price can go lower, and that range would be between 47 to 53K. Why 58? Because that is approximately where the lower Bollinger Band is. And if you're not familiar with Bollinger Bands, then whenever the price breaks with a confirmation from the upper or lower Bollinger Band, then you get a tremendous price move. And the only sort of support in terms of actual price action and volume we have between 58 to, if we go down, is between 47 to 53. So that's the point to be looking out for. But if we zoom in, we had a beautiful reversal candle in the last 4 days. And now the current 4-day candle is trading above the close. And if we can keep this momentum going into tomorrow when markets open again, I think the price of Bitcoin can move back up into these two moving averages, which are the 3 and 10 SMAs. I'll talk more about it in just a second, because the theory with moving averages is that whenever you have a crossover, either bullish or bearish, price tends to get attracted to it. And if we look at these three particular SMAs, it's the 3, 10, and 30. It's called Consensio, and it's a trading system developed by the late 𝗘𝗘𝗘𝗥. And it's something that I basically use all the time for my trading. Usually when you have a 3 and 10 moving average crossover, it indicates a local top for Bitcoin. So you can see post ETF, we have this crossover, Bitcoin dips from 43 to 38, and then essentially you have a bullish crossover again, boom, you go back bullish, right? If you go back to a year ago, at the top where we had this choppy period at like 25, 28K, we had the bearish crossover, down goes Bitcoin, bullish crossover, you go back up again. The times when it's very, 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 very effective is when you have it at the top of a bull market or at the bottom of a bear market. And you can see that back in the tops of 2021, you had the 3 and 10 crossing over, and that indicated a local top for Bitcoin. Same thing happened at the second half of 2021. You had the 310 crossing over, and then eventually you cross into the 30 SMA, and that's like the final sell signal for your Bitcoin holdings, or if you want to short, then you can short Bitcoin. Now what we're seeing is we're seeing a crossover into three of these moving averages. Three of these moving averages at the same time. That is a massive warning sign. And I personally closed a lot of my long positions. I'm just waiting for if Bitcoin can bounce here. If we can, perfect. But if not, we'll probably have a massive buy the dip opportunity between 47 to 53K. And before I jump over to you, Fefe, just one last thing that I want to mention is that Bitcoin is currently at the 21 EMA. Now, historically speaking, at this 21 EMA, it is always a beautiful buy the dip opportunity. So if you've been waiting on the sidelines to buy Bitcoin and going to your spot holdings, then I think right now, not financial advice, but personally, I think that now could be a beautiful time to start doing that. But of course, if you are a position trader or if you trade on derivatives, then you have this double top to be concerned about. You have lack of volume to be concerned about, a lot of things. So yeah, but what do you think about that, Fefe, overall?
No, yeah, I agree. Look, what is very interesting is that I don't use EMAs, I don't use MAs, I don't use any of that. The people watching the show and from my community, they know this. But what is very interesting for me when we started talking about this is that I have the exact same analysis with a different strategy, right? So what I'm looking at is, first of all, I think it's very important to look at the total market cap and then look at DXY and then, just boil it down back from there. But what I'm looking at is if you look at the daily on the total market cap, we do have to, markets tend to come back to 50%, always, right? And what I was debating with the community is we have two options. Number one, we take this leg, which is absolutely normal that we miss a certain leg here. So we did not come back 50% down here. But it's absolutely normal in the bull markets. As you see here, we didn't come back for a very, very long time in 2021. Didn't come back. And at one point, we had a massive 50% correction. This is what I think is upon us now. This is more and more I talk about this. This is what I'm thinking. And just so there is no confusion, this was a 66% correction, 56% correction. So if we're looking at this, and I think we didn't have a 50% retrace on the major leg from the bottom up, right? We didn't really, you can even pull it from here, but basically we didn't have a major pullback. I'm pulling it from September 2023 with this 1 trillion mark-ish. I do think we need to see that. And if you pull that from the very top, what is the first reversal area after that, after we come back to the discount zone, would be down here. This would be what I would start looking at any buys, right? If we look at a higher time frame picture. And that's about a 30 to 40% correction, which is still milder than the 2021 one. But what I think is with all the ETF and all the institutional money and everything is being here, I think it's absolutely fine. So, or probable. So what I'm looking at is that I do think that we need to have a pullback on the total market cap, and whether we can, now the question really is, I agree with you with the hold, but I'd rather look at the total market cap. This here was a main reversal area for me. So this is the major POI, point of interest on the daily. And I do think that this 2.17 trillion region should hold. Why do I think that? I think because we came back on this leg. we came back 50%. Here, from the retracement to the 50%, we made a higher high, a market structure shift from here that indicates power in the buyers compared to the sellers. And then now we're basically just coming back to this region. So what I'm looking at, it's the good thing about this is there needs to be a clear invalidation, right? And we do have a clear invalidation for us to see a reversal in the entire market. So for me, what I'm looking at is the following. We need to see a close. So again, as I say, always retrace 50% to premium discount. So we have a retracement up here from the top as I move down. So we go down, we retrace 50. Cool. So I want to see what's my next level. And then I just pull it down, and then we have a retrace here. So therefore, this marks my top. And then if I go all the way down, I don't want to complete the whole thing, but you get the idea. So as you go all the way down, basically this is my last high here. Okay, and this is why before the show we started chatting, and we were like, okay, so like you said that there was a potential retrace to these EMAs that you were looking at, and I was like, so for me, the reversal area should happen around these regions because it would be pretty cool to put up the EMAs on the that you talked about on the total market cap and see what that shows. But so for me, I do think that a reversal should come to about 2.33 trillion, which is about 6-ish% from here. But then the question really comes, because that's the main decision. And this is why I kind of think if the ETF would come next week, we could see that inflow, we could see that hype, we could see that push. The real question is, can we close above this 2.37 trillion mark? Because if we can't, then this is literally just going to be another lower high and then a continuation down to this 2 trillion. What is it? 1.8 trillion region, which would be from here, from any of these levels, we're looking at another 20% of the total market cap, and that means that 20% of all the money that's logged in crypto is basically leaving from crypto. So that's devastating. We're looking at 30-40% down on alts. But did you manage to put up the EMAs on the total market cap? I'd love to see that.
Yeah, so I can quickly do that right now. So if I just go to the EMA chart and we go to the total crypto market cap, we can see that it's essentially the same. So that would be a retrace or a move back up to the 2.4 trillion area. And then you would be starting to see another correction back down.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you... yeah. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to quickly look into the S&P as well, because I think it's important. We have the correlation that Bitcoin has with the S&P is that we don't go up when the S&P goes up, particularly because Bitcoin currently follows the tech stocks. And right now, if we look at the S&P sector rotation, what's driving the S&P forward is energy stocks. And why do energy stocks go up? Well, they go up in a time of uncertainty, when commodities go up, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that that's the main push that the S&P has. Other than that, we're significantly weak, and you can see that with a huge bearish divergence that we have on the weekly time frame. And we have a topping out candle. Momentum looks very, very weak. So I think that the S&P can correct. Now, like I said, when the S&P dumps, Bitcoin dumps. But when the S&P goes up, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin will follow. So if the S&P starts correcting tomorrow, that will potentially create panic and cause Bitcoin to lose that 38.2 on the Fibonacci. But just to summarize everything, like I think unless we lose this 58 area conservatively, we're okay. If we do, then 47 to 53 could be possible. If we don't lose it and reverse back up, then we could be looking at a $66,000 Bitcoin in the short term.
Let me just look at my chart again. It's just very important, very interesting to see the alignment between the two analyses from different strategies. Because I agree with you. So what we've been discussing with the community on the lives is that if you pull this here, basically. So for me, this was the bottom. Why? Because if you look at this, the same thing. Consider this leg. You come back for the 50 retrace. Actually, it's even sorry. Yeah, so you come back on the weekly or on the daily, you look at this. This is a major push, right? So here you want to see this is sufficient enough for me to consider this as a massive bottom, a massive base, right? If you consider this and you see the retracement, there was no 50% retracement on Bitcoin, but you had the 50% retracement on the total market cap. And that's enough for me because the total Bitcoin follows the total market cap. Everything else most likely follows Bitcoin and total market cap. But what's visible here again is the same thing. After coming down to the 50 region, it got a higher high, which indicates a strength in this level to break through the previous massive supply late. And so when that happens, we come back, retest that region. So before, if we don't break 56,000, I do think we're fine. That's my last result. I think if we are not breaking below this level, I think we should be good. Although I have to say that this can also be a trap from the perspective of this did have the retrace, and there is actually no reason for us to break below so I trade something like called the 4-pointer structure. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the 4 legs with proper coming back to the discount and whatnot. After that, there is no reason to break below the strong low, which was 60,000. And we not only did break below, but closed below on multiple time frames. So for me, this is extremely bearish. I do think that we're going to see a relief rally. I agree with you, up to the 65,000 region and a massive rejection there. And that's where people really going to get lost, because they'll be just like, oh, Bitcoin is pumping. And that's like, what is it? It's like, it's a 6-7% pump. So there will be a decent euphoria around the place.
They're going to be happy.
Yeah. Everybody's going to start aping in.
We're back.
Yeah, exactly. We're so fucking back, right? We're so back, and then not. So yeah, I agree with you. What do you think about? What do you think about the? I want to talk about, guys. Before we proceed, I think it's very important. I forgot to mention 2 things. Number 1, which is very important in my opinion, is that Bitget is launching today. Okay, I see a lot of people asking in the comments and whatever. People are saying Bitget today, and I can't scroll up now, but there are a lot of people asking about Bitget, and I get constant messages about Bitget. So Bitget is launching. It's our token. It's the little brother of Gummy. So I know nothing. The only thing I know is that you have to monitor the Twitter from today until from now to midnight. Again, I don't know, but I think that it will be before or after Ren's meme coin show. So it would make sense that it comes before, but I genuinely don't know anything. What is interesting about these launches is that Ren is literally like a monk. Like, he closes his office and he's like, nobody talk to me. He's like, we don't know anything about this. Like, it's actually pretty cool, because there are no team allocations, all that stuff. It's not like everybody gets the contract address in advance and whatever. It's just literally being posted on Twitter. So I'm monitoring the Twitter. The only thing I can do is to see. I know it's, if there will be no complications. I know it's coming today, but when and how, and I know nothing else. So somebody's saying he will launch it on the show. Okay, maybe he will launch it on the show. Okay, that makes sense. You see, Ren just posted. Okay, I didn't even see that. We were on live. Let's see what Ren posted.
Dude, that's so cool. Oh my god.
Oh, it's fine. We're launching Bitget token live on the show today. Okay, so he is launching live. Okay, that's fine. So it saves a lot of monitoring time for us. Look at this picture.
Oh my god.
I'm not even sure if this is edited. I'm not even sure. No, I'm just joking. It probably is edited. But anyway, we also 2 huge guests to discuss the next meme coin bull run. Okay, it's gonna be a great show. It's gonna come in like 90 minutes, so you gotta watch that show. But the other thing which is important is that KRC20s are launching. I made a post about it, and I actually made a show on Banter today, detailing everything. Now, one thing I didn't include on that show was that I didn't talk about how to actually buy them. And I hinted it, and there is one very simple reason why I didn't talk about specifically how to buy them, is because I don't want the backlash. It's a very new thing. Nobody really knows. It's like a mint function, and when you mint them, you can't really sell them because there is no DEX, and then you have to there is this curve. We don't really know what the prices will be, and probably will be buggy as crazy. So I didn't want to tell people exactly how to do it. But what I'm going to do on this live show, I'm going to just give you a rundown very simply on how you can look at it. But again, please understand that everything I explained on the Banter video is the stuff that you should pay attention to. But I also do think that by these things coming out now, basically we're hours from the launch, I do think this is kind of like the stuff that I'm not going to get backlash for. So there is a couple of things that I would look at buying. Number 1, are you into CAS?
Dude, I am so far away from altcoins and meme coins. Like it's actually crazy how far I'm away.
So here I'm gonna tell you how to buy a 𝗏𝗧 meme coin, okay?
Oh,
but
wow.
not financial advice.
As degen
is like this doesn't get more degen. It is because the chain. So the KRC20 is like the ERC20 or the BIP20 launching now. KRC20s. So it's like the chain where you're gonna ape into the tokens, or the upgrade is not out yet. So it's that new. It's so fucking degen that we're talking about something that is not even out there. So okay, but there are coins that are going to launch when the upgrade comes. Okay, so one of the coins
it's so degen. It's
Yeah.
it's so degen that a shower won't get rid of the filth.
It's
Like, I'm
just
gonna
not.
have to jump.
It's not.
I'm gonna
Yes.
jump in the ocean and
Yeah,
just swim
that's-
around for 30 minutes, and maybe the filth
The
rinses off.
salt will take it off you. Yeah. No, but jokes aside, I'm gonna buy Casper. Casper on Casper. Casper is the ghost of Casper. A couple of reasons why. It's not a promotion. I'm not paid. It's just literally, I think this can go 100x in my opinion, but it's a zero or hero play.
Wow.
The reason is because Casper has a cult of people, right? These guys are fucking not selling. Casper is 4.5 billion. It's not listed on most of the tier 1 exchanges. Like, it's listed on Bybit basically, which is a tier 1, and that's basically it. So it's not listed on Binance. It's not listed on any of the major exchanges. And so these guys are not selling. What is interesting is that they have these memes coming on, and every community have to have their memes. And the reason why this is interesting is because Casper uses something called 𝗏𝗏𝗡, which is like their way on the proof of work. This is what the protocol is operating on. And it's a ghost. So Casper is a ghost. Casper itself is like a very famous character. And then Casper rhymes with Casper. So I do think that if there will be a meme that will do very well on Casper, it's going to be this one. The way to buy it is actually just to have a wallet. I downloaded what is the name of that wallet? What is the name of the wallet that I sent you?
Bro, the due diligence sounds so funny, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Casware, yeah. So you got to get Casware wallet. And then you got to buy Casper on one of the exchanges. You send the tokens in, and then you will be able to mint them. But the reason why I'm passionate about this, because it definitely, I trust me on this. Like, there will be a decentralized exchange popping up in a week, and you will be able to sell it and like at least 20x. But I don't know. It's just all speculation. The whole thing can go to zero, and we can lose all our money. But this is once in a lifetime opportunity when a protocol with 4.5 billion market cap is launching something that is not been before in the protocol, and now you're enabling people to launch token on the chain that's worth 4.5 billion. It's not every day that's happening. So I'm definitely bullish. I'm definitely excited, and I think people should focus on this.
How to buy it, bro? I want to ape into it.
So the way to buy it is actually, let me just put your screen up for a second. And then let me just
look at me, look at me doing my due diligence on Casper.
Yeah. It's a ghost on Casper. Yeah, no, but it is what it is, bro. It's just you gotta go with the flow. Let me just see here. Okay, let me just see here. So
the UI is so bad. It's so funny, actually.
Yeah. No, I don't know where it is. Oh, did I close these? Did I close my? Okay. Anyway. Casware. So technically you have to, so there is no way of really like, let me just show it to you here. And then we can just move on to all the other charts. But the basic idea here is that you have to install this Casware extension. And once you have that, you have to send in some Casper. And once you send in some Casper, there will be this mint function. So you can come into here to the middle on Google Chrome. And then there will be this mint. And then you have to write in the ticker, which will be unique tickers. You don't have to write contract addresses and all that shit. And once you have that in there, so your basic idea here, again, I'm just gonna put it up because I wasn't prepared this, and I don't want my nudes to show on live here. But what you do here is that you have this here. So this is like Casper. You see here, you copy this in there, and basically that's it. And you kind of mint. But at what price and what bonding curve and like I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh wow. This is so degen. Like, if you had a spectrum of how degen this is, it's probably right at the end. Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, but I will personally try it out, and because I've missed out on all of these opportunities.
I'm just seeing that 𝗥𝗘𝗦 is live. Is it possible that 𝗥𝗘𝗦 is live?
Is Banter live right now?
No, Banter is not live. But there's a post from 𝗥𝗘𝗦.
Hacked? Maybe they're hacked. No.
Let me ask, guys. Don't ape into this. I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
the site is not loading. No, I would not know. They would not let me know. Like
really?
I don't know. Yeah, but like no one knows when they launch. Like no one really knows.
That's crazy. Only Rand knows. Only Rand.
Yeah, only Rand knows.
That's interesting.
I don't know what's happening here. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. Don't ape into this. Wait, I just don't want to. I don't want to let people know. Don't ape into this. Let's pretend we haven't seen before. Let's pretend we haven't seen this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe it's true. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Ran,
it's fine.
Help us. Put us out of our
check
misery.
that. Check.
Let's check Ran.
But they're not hacked. I think.
Ran hasn't posted anything new.
Okay.
So.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know what this is. To be very honest, I asked.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
I'm just asking the team.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Okay. So let's. I'm just gonna ask them if I know anything.
Okay.
If I know anything,
While you do
then,
that,
I'll let them.
While you ask, there's one chart that my friend just sent me. So
Yeah, let's look at it.
He's an analyst that I look up to like massively. He's a very old guy, incredible analyst, like professional TA chartist, and he just sent this. He said, "Look, I've never seen a time in Bitcoin's history where we printed 23 or 24 red Heikin-Ashi candles back to back, and Bitcoin did not reverse afterwards. There's been literally, according to him, on the daily time frame, there's not been a single instance where Bitcoin fell down by 23 to 24 Heikin-Ashi red candles, and then on the green one, which we have currently, we didn't see a reversal. So that could be a kind of a sign that RTA is right in the direction that Bitcoin may come back up to 65 in the next few days."
Awesome.
So
Awesome. No, I'm still in the shock of this did big launch, did big not launch kind of thing. I'm thinking about this, but anyway, yeah. If I know anything, the site is not working. If I know anything, I'll let you know. But I don't know anything yet.
Oh, people are saying it's live. People are saying that the market cap is at 60 grand already.
Oh, really? So apparently it is live.
That's
okay,
what the
apparently
chatter's
it
saying.
is live. So then we celebrate.
Should I 8-pin right now before?
Just be reasonable. Be reasonable. Be reasonable. But I think I mean apparently it is. I don't know if we're launching it live or I don't know what that is. I don't know what, but we should probably. I'm not gonna buy in. I think, but yeah. Let's look at some tokens. Okay. Let's do some token requests. Let's do some token requests.
On Banter Bubbles, let's see how the market's doing. So of course,
it's so cool that you're using Banter Bubbles, but it's just incredible to see. Like I see you losing it all the time. So thank you so much.
Yeah, why not, bro? Like I support my friends. That's the thing. So yeah, I mean, if we look at the weekly recap on the altcoins, and by the way, it's not because I'm just supporting, it's incredible. So you should definitely try it out for yourself if you're not, for some reason, using it already. But altcoins are a little bit mixed here on the weekly. We're seeing Casp up 24%, Dog with Hat up 17%. But if you look at the rest of the larger cap altcoins, they're down 15, 12, 9, 10, 5%. So I think it's a mixed market. We're at an equilibrium where the market's trying to find out where Bitcoin wants to go. But if we look on the monthly, everything is pretty much down. So I think it's a cool buying the dip opportunity. But of course, I'm personally waiting for a confirmation on which way Bitcoin wants to go, because if we see a correction, then altcoins will probably bleed even more. And I want to save my cash to go all in, at least near the bottom.
Sorry. Actually, it is. So it is not a hack. It's not hacked. It is live.
It's live. Oh wow.
So it's it apparently is live. Let me just go. So I just confirm it's not a hack. So apparently it's live. I don't know how that. Hold on a second. So this is the link that's coming from.
Let me ape into it then.
Yeah. I can't do it live, but once we're done, I'm probably gonna buy some, and I'm gonna give it away for giveaway or something.
Okay. You know what, bro? Let's buy some now and let's give it away next week.
34 million market cap.
Oh, 34 million? What?
No, it says 58,000.
Oh, 1,000. Do you want to buy some now? I'll send over some Solana to you after, and then we can give it away on the show. What do you think?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do it in the next show. Give it away. All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't mind.
That's incredible. That means Baked is launched. Baked Out Fan is launched.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Also incredible. Also incredible.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool. Let's look at some charts. Let's look at some charts, and then let's.
Altcoin charts. Okay, and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day.
Awesome. So let's jump into this.
People want ton. People want
ton. You want to do the first, or should I do first?
You know what, bro? You can go ahead. Let's do
it. Let's do it. I'm just. How crazy this is that it launched while we were live.
That is insane. That is a sign that this show is working.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Okay. Ton. Let me look at this. Loafing.
Twan.
𝗏 is just crazy. Like for me, 𝗏 is on another level. The thing with 𝗏 is that it's really like nothing stops 𝗏. Nothing. Like look at this. This is the May dip. 𝗏 is up like 3%. It's crazy. I don't understand. So for me, 𝗏 is also, it's a very fundamental play. If you look at 𝗏, if you don't know, 𝗏 is a Telegram's chain basically, and they have 900 million users, close to a billion users. Okay, and that means like they are. They are planning on an IPO as well, if I understand it correctly. But anyway, the chain itself, the problem with a couple of things, my thoughts, and this is going to be more fundamental. And the reason why it's more fundamental, because I don't really think you can do TA on 𝗏. If I would do TA here, I would say, oh, we are building up liquidity. We're probably going to come back, retest this bearish, whatever, and then we just come down, take all this liquidity, come back to 50% retrace. That would be my guess. And we come back here, we show a reversal from around 6-ish, and then once that's done, we can see new highs. But the reason why I don't think it would work here is because 𝗏 is driven by this crazy whole narrative of tapping games and onboarding projects to this 900 million people. So I think buying 𝗏 on spot is not a bad idea. Would I trade 𝗏 here? I would only trade it on the lower time frame. And what I said the other day is that trading right now on the lower time frame is extremely risky. So if I look at this, if I were to trade 𝗏, this is what people don't understand. They want to take a trade all the time, and it doesn't work. So what you got to do, you got to make sure that you take the trades that yield you the best and highest risk reward. And so for me, if I would do anything with 𝗏, I would probably short it. So if it comes up here, I would look for a lower time frame confirmation and just simply take a short position and try to ride it down if it aligns with the market. That's my analysis. Do you have any thoughts on? And then we were running over like an hour, but
oh wow, yeah. Just to end things off, then.
Let's do some tokens. What do you? You should do one more so we can do more. Can you do RNDR?
Okay, yeah, I'll do render. But in the meantime, while I'm pulling the chart up, yeah, I think I completely agree with you. I think that it's pretty cool that the fact that. So what is unique about 𝗏 specifically is the fact that they have 900 million people using Telegram, and they have all the cool integrations with Telegram. I think it's pretty interesting, and I actually saw that in Morgan Stanley's digital asset conference they held a few days ago. Their top used word in the conference was 𝗏. So I personally think that, yeah, 𝗏 itself has a lot of potential. In Token 2049, you were there as well, right? In Dubai, Pavel Durov was on stage talking about 𝗏. And yeah, I think that Pavel himself, he's a very inspirational person. He's done a lot of cool things. And I think that, yeah, 𝗏 will probably continue to do well. So this is render. If we look at render, it's actually pretty similar to the price of Bitcoin or the price chart of Bitcoin. We have the same kind of lower Bollinger Band support structure that we should be holding. I mean, you can argue that we're in like a bull flag, but I think without shouting out any chart patterns, the place that you really want to be looking out for render is a fall below 7.38. If we fall below the confirmation, then the next line of support would be 5.173. And I think it just aligns with the fact of where Bitcoin is going to go. If Bitcoin loses where we are currently, then Bitcoin will go lower, and that will probably crash the entire altcoin market. So I wouldn't be focusing too much individually on the charts of these altcoins. I would probably sticking to Bitcoin a bit more. And based off of what Bitcoin does, I think altcoins will massively follow, depending on if we pump or dump.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you, and I also think that it comes down with the higher time frame thing. So you gotta trade. Yeah. If there is uncertainty in the market, number one, you should not trade at all. But number two, you gotta trade on a higher time frame. You can't start going down the lower time frame and start trading that, because you are going to get 𝗍'd, which you should not do. So I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, I said the same. Let me just bring it here. Let me just bring your screen up. On my screen, I had the exact same thoughts. Although, again, for the shorter time frame, what you could be looking at if you want to trade this, or if you just pump, this could be an interesting play in my opinion. In spot, rather 12% stop loss is pretty huge, but this can have a massive leg up coming up to this 9.5 region if we see a massive pump next week. So that can absolutely happen. There is one more thing I want to take your thoughts on, and then we should round this up. there is this guy.
Yeah.
So I see him, Mohammed, in the comment as well. He's like, such a nice show. So let me just share you this. I don't know how this will put it in here. Okay. So I know it's difficult to see, but let me put this in here and then I'll read it. So it says, I had lost a lot of cash from trading in crypto, and I'm just 23 years old student. Hi everyone, I'm reaching out in desperation. I'm a 23-year-old master student in the abroad, and I've just lost my entire life savings in crypto. I'm talking every single penny I had gone. I had started in crypto in 2021, and it was actually going fine that time because I used only. Can I just zoom in? I can. Okay, that's much better. Because I only had spot trading, but now I discovered futures, leverage trading, and that effed me up big time. I'm feeling devastated and helpless when my parents sent me abroad. I had university, blah, blah, blah. So what he's saying is that, and this is the desperation part, I just want to be able to give a normal life again. I wake up feeling stressed because of the bills and debt I have to pay. I just need someone to keep. Okay, so this is the thing. He actually posted his address, but that's not the main point I wanted to bring in here. The reason why I wanted to bring it here, because I know that a lot of people feel like this. A lot of people feel like this. So what do you have as what would you tell him? He's here. Mohammed is here. So he's watching this. I want to share my thoughts as well, but I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this situation, and for anybody who is listening and is in this situation?
Well, I mean, it's a very, very tough situation to be in. I mean, you can't change what's happened in the past, but as a sort of lesson that you could take away from this is that you should first of all, never ever go all in into anything, right? You should never ever go all in into anything. That's what I learned. I mean, if you have, let's say, $10,000 in savings, then maybe you want to allocate 10% of your savings into crypto. If you're more of a degen, then you allocate more, but it doesn't mean you put it all into altcoins. Like if I were to, let's say I had $10,000, what would I do with crypto? I would put 8 grand into Bitcoin or 7 grand into Bitcoin and just, divest the remaining $3,000. So you have to be risk managed. And that's if you want to build a portfolio. Now, number 2 is if you're venturing into futures trading, I would say do not touch leverage trading unless you've done 1.5 years of demo trading. You have an understanding of the market, and you're profitable in demo. Otherwise, if you start doing leverage trading without experience, without being successful at it, then it's essentially going into the casino. There's absolutely no difference than you walking in and playing roulette and going all in, and you going long 100x with your crypto. There's no difference. Probably it's even riskier. So if you are using leverage, even if you're a professional, you wouldn't be doing this anyways. But if you're a professional, then I mean, personally, I don't go over 20x leverage personally. And that's if I have low capital. If I have high capital in the position, I only do like 5 or 10x leverage. So that's a lesson that you could take from it as well. But I mean, if you're already in this position, then, I guess the only thing that you can do is, look, I know so many traders that have lost and wiped out their entire accounts, right? Over and over again. It's a very painful thing. I've never had that. I've never wiped my account. Very grateful that didn't happen. But if you have, I know a lot of great traders that are multi-millionaires today that have wiped out their accounts.
Exactly. That's the part of the game. That's the part of the game.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
100%.
No,
I mean, it's gonna happen.
I agree with you. I agree with you on the part. I think what my message would be is that nothing really matters. Your number one rule as a trader, or number one objective is not to make money. It's crazy to think, but it's not to make money. It's to preserve capital. And when you go, but it's with everything. Warren Buffett says he never invests in anything he doesn't understand. You can't start. So for me, I had a big, if you're becoming a professional trader, you're really going to get depressed. Like I'm talking about deep depression. In my opinion, that's just how I see it. Deep depression, and you don't understand what's happening, and you don't understand what's going on, and so the problem comes in when you. So what I thought, or what I felt was that at some point, I was going back to lose more money in the market, and I'm just losing my money, and then I go back and I lose more money, and then I lose more money, and I would just keep coming back to the casino to throw money into the slot machine. And what I realized is that it's like you have to think of trading as a profession. You have to think of trading like you're a neurosurgeon. It's not going to be the way that you come to this event. You come to the operation room and you say, okay, let's try today. Let's try today. Maybe we got lucky. No, bro, that's not how it works. You go back to university and you learn years and years and years and years till you get to a point where you can start supporting the surgeon. And then when you start supporting the surgeon, then you become whatever, and then you observe, and then it's not like you lose all your money, because this is what happened to me. And I'm telling you to learn from my mistake. It's like you go to the trading desk and then you lose $100 and you go, okay, no problem. Let's go back and then let's throw another $100. Maybe this time. It's not. You have to think like you're a neurosurgeon. You're going in for surgery and you have to be ready. And if you have one patient dying under you, you don't go back next day and say, okay, let's see if it happens today. No. You go back to the drawing board. You go back to learning. You go back to practicing. You go back to exercising. You go back to train your brain. And that's what people should do. So going back to this guy though, Mohammed, first of all, I feel you. Like, we really feel for you. I've lost a couple of accounts. It happened. I still have massive drawdowns like I had in this Bitget competition because I'm force trading and because I'm not focusing. It happens to the best traders in the world lose money as well every single day. Second, I know how difficult it is to go to not everything and then lose it all. It's very fucking difficult and challenging. But the only thing you have to do is to keep pushing. And I know it's difficult and you're like, what's going to happen? My family and what? You just have to keep it. He's like, right now, I just need to get back on my feet and be able to pay my rent and debts to the people I owe. I really understand everything. Exactly. That's just what you have to do. Unfortunately, there are ways and avenues to do that. But you got to come out of it as a man, and you just got to, man up and just keep pushing.
The only thing that you can do is that, it's important to have some sort of a passive income, right? If you have a job, if you can, work for someone and, build that capital back, then that's the only way to approach it. But, as Fefe said, a lot of people go through it. It's like, one of my friends said something very incredible that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. Who would you rather fight, right? Same build, same muscles, same everything. A guy with tattoos on him and scars all over his face, or would you fight a guy that has no tattoos and no scars? You would fight the guy that has nothing on him. Why? Because the guy with scars and tattoos, he's been through some stuff, right? And it just makes you stronger and stronger and stronger. Everyone is defined by how they get up from their failures. And if you can get back from this successfully, then it's just going to prove to the world how strong of a man you are and how strong of an individual you are. So yeah.
100%. I think it's proving for me was very big. When I was laying on the ground 1 a.m. crying like, what the fuck is going to happen? I knew that was a day, and I even recorded videos of myself telling myself that it's going to happen. And I told myself, like, dude, I know you've been through all this shit. Remember, you've been through all this shit. And I promise you it's happening. I promise you it's coming. I promise you it's there. It's going to be awesome. So, guys, thank you so much. Fefe, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Did you have a lot of fun?
I had a lot of fun. It just would have helped if the place I'm in is not hot as hell. But yeah, I think everybody in the chat is going to vote that we should do this again. It's been fantastic. I learned a lot. I think that's the most important.
Yeah, exactly, man. I enjoy this a lot. We are putting up a vote right now, and I want everyone to vote. You guys should vote if we should do this again, and we could also do it on your channel next week, and then we could just swap back and forth, and then go it that way. That would be also very interesting, guys. Also, please, let us know in the comment section if you like this show. What did you like most? What did you not like? Whatever, so we can take it away from there. And also, Casper launch will be delayed. Someone is saying Casper launch will be delayed. We have to look at that. We cannot disregard Casper launch.
Yeah, we cannot miss that.
Yeah, the ghost. Someone say, okay, it says here. Until then, leave your thoughts, guys. Leave your thoughts. Casper KRC is down. Casper launch will be delayed. We are so sorry, and this is a complete out of our hands. Junior is going to vote a new date and time. Yeah, exactly. So this is what I said. This was expected. That is something like this will happen. So it's absolutely fine, absolutely normal. Nothing to panic. Somebody's saying Guspa dumping coming. Guspa dumping hard. Let's look at it. Come on, we can't leave. You got to buy gummy instead of baked instead of Casper. Seems like.
By the way, my friend, he just texted me. He said, he said he bought it, the baked token. And it's not coming up in his Phantom wallet, the token, after buying it.
Oh,
so.
Are you sure he bought the correct one?
Yeah, I sent him the address that was in the Twitter.
Look at. I actually think I don't know what that is. I honestly I've been live here with you, so I don't know anything about this. What's happened now? I only confirmed if you're not hacked, and we're not hacked. I know that. So I actually think buying 𝗘𝗧𝗧, not necessarily here, but taking it for a short-term trade is a great idea. Like, I think the fact that it's not even like the 𝗘𝗩𝗘𝗢. Just look at this. It's not even 𝗘𝗧𝗧 here. They are doing the 𝗘𝗩𝗘𝗢s. Open beta will blast off, and so there is no. I don't see anything. I don't see anything on why it wouldn't go so far. I actually think, again, this is a degen play, but buying 𝗘𝗧𝗧 for a short term, I think it makes sense for a short term bounce. Once you see probably there will be another leg down, and then buying it for a very short term gain, that could be very good. I think people are gonna panic now. But buying, I think it's not a bad. Like, there's no reason for 𝗘𝗧𝗧 to start dumping. Probably down here at around 16.9, 16, 17 cents is a great buy. Anyway, guys, I have to leave. Fefe, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate you, and I hope to see you in the other one. Any final words for the community?
No, I had a great time. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Fefe, for hosting. We're gonna be live on my channel next week, same time. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you there.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Much love to you. Much love to you. Thanks for being here.
Take care, man. See you.
And guys, for all of you who've been watching this, thank you so much for being here, for leaving a comment, for liking, for subscribing to the channel. We do live trading shows every single day. And from now on, it seems like we're going to do this awesome stuff with the crypto kid himself, Fefe. If you like this content, just subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and most importantly, come and return to the show. Someone's saying Bitget hacked. No, it's not hacked. As far as I know, it's not hacked. So everything there is live. It's not hacked. It did actually launch. That's what I heard. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Guys, take care. Have fun. And I believe I will see you in the next one. Let's get big together.